Hello, I am Brenda Jean, Power Medicine Woman, and I am here representing Medicine Woman Solution. There is a solution to everything. So we have Michaela here already. That's wonderful. I lost my mouse on my one computer, and so I can't be quick to get to making everything work. Facebook, thank goodness, is the only one that seems to be working. Zoom still seems to be out, not working. And this gets a little frustrating. So, oh, that's not what I wanted. Share away, that would be helpful. I can't even get to my other platforms. Things are changing. This is what we're going to end up talking about today, is that things are definitely changing. And I can tell you the feeling is that we're flat, okay? Because mouse lost, not able to operate, batteries and buttons that are supposed to push us on, our buttons are being pushed, but do we have to react anymore? Some buttons need to function, some buttons don't. So what that means is metaphysically is that we have dulled certain buttons so that people can't, so we don't respond hastily. What does that mean? Well, let's put it this way. When we are little, as we start to develop, we end up pushing, we push buttons, and then they push back. And we push buttons because we are learning boundaries. We're learning how to cope, handle, deal, and pacify with life, and hopefully we learn how to hold our power, resolve, and to grow and mature that emotional quotient, mental quotient, and our spiritual quotient, which affects the physical quotient. And this is learning how to develop and mature all parts of ourselves. So as I look, I've noticed that my certain buttons don't get pushed because we numbed them. Numbing, you think, oh, that's good, right? No, that usually means suppressing, and that there's a root, and that shit's going to show up later, and you're wondering why life keeps repeating itself. Go a little deeper. Some buttons, so sometimes you just run flat, depleted by certain emotions that just wear us out. And that is related usually to being overused. That is the high beta. What does that mean? Beta is that we're talking about when you start to think what other people think and try to resolve what other people think and try to live in that exterior world of what other people think, you will cause yourself to be in a state of wearing yourself out, and so then your battery becomes flat. When you have hidden buttons that are deep inside of you and you don't know it, that takes a certain amount of life force that causes you to, you have to feed every day. So you get 100%. And these are the things you have to hide. These are the things that you have to construct. These are your masks that you have to put on to hide behind the shadows. And those certain masks are, you want to be happy, you want to this and that. And all of a sudden somebody says, well, that was just stupid. So then you stop doing that and you put on a mask. Or all of a sudden, or aren't you just a gritty little pig? All of a sudden those things hurt, and then you put on a mask and you become a martyr. You learn how to lose power. You learn how to become a prostitute and lose that to which you are, and you let somebody else write your life, somebody to pimp you. Even with the harshest comments, children learn lose the efficacy to be able to get the results they want. For instance, as simple as using art. So you're building something and it's beautiful to you out of clay, and somebody comes along and criticizes it and hurt because that's just the way they're learning to talk, or that's what they mirrored when they were growing up, that's how they're supposed to act. So what does all this mean? It means that we have to unlearn and unwind and heal and get the learning. So if your pain is pushing away other people, okay, other people are the blamers, other people are the cause, and you're pushing the cause and the cause is pushing you, you're going to be having this lockdown. Okay, what does this lockdown do? It means the learnings are out here. And to stand in the cause is to learn how to, and this is the best way to do it, is learn how to resolve, to evolve. Instead of just bringing the pain and the learnings in and then using your ego mindset and getting caught up in, okay, now I'm in high beta because I can't stop thinking about it. You're a bitch. You're I was hurt. Fight. Do. Stress. All this. Your mind goes nuts. It's important to be able to understand that they're touching your panic button. Pretty much everything will connect to your panic button because you have the past and you have the future. The left brain talks in the past and the future. The way we talk in the present is with the end results of experiences which show up as emotions. So what emotions are you stuffing? What emotions are you displaying? What emotions are moving forward? So as this occurs, your part of you then goes and looks at your future, and we hold these. So if I took, and remember when we used to play dodgeball? I hated that game. You take it and then you look at your weakest target and you're like, I got you, bitch. And then you throw the ball and it smacks them, and usually they aim for the frickin' face or the delicate parts. But, and I just found out recently, as some people like to play those games, men just always throw me off of understanding why would you want to keep hitting your delicate parts. But, enough said. Going back, what happens is that there's that initial pact. Then out from that, it spins out. So this is what happens with panic. And this is why you see a lot of people have heartburn, because they put panic here near this area, not necessarily a gland or an organ, but areas. Sometimes, and what does that do? It starts affecting certain meridians. You have the stomach meridian, the central meridian, you have the gallbladder, you have the bladder meridian, you have like pretty much almost every meridian seems to get hit. Okay? But then, let's say you don't have it just here, but you have it in your bowels. Okay? A lot of people have a lot of panic in their bowels, and irritable bowel syndrome and all of this. Okay? Then you have up here in your thymus, people's immune systems are sick all the time. They can't move forward just because the panic's in the thymus. When the panic gets in the throat, this is where a lot of people have metabolism problems, because the throat chakra is an amazing thing that has a lot to do with metabolizing. And when that encompasses and the energy just starts to consume because of the first, second, third chakra, this panic is what's locked in your first, second chakra. Then what happens is then you have issues here where you can have asthma and things like this. Now you can have panic in your head. You can have panic stuck. Okay? So what activates those things? Bronchial issues, all of these. Yes, I'm hearing all of your thoughts. Okay, so what happens next is that if you don't understand how you made life and put things together, oh, yeah, it's 11, sorry. Zooms down, but that's how much it is. So when you have these things, if you were to be left brain, you're going to be more of a negative person, more pessimistic. And if you're more right brain, then you can be more optimistic. Now, left brain, right brain, there is which eye is dominant, which hand is dominant, which foot is dominant, which ear, which nose, which part of you is dominant, and it'll go to the brain, which part is dominant. So it doesn't mean that it's good or bad, it just means that's how one of your operating systems is. That's where you want to develop. You said I wanted to come in this, and I want to develop through that system. So that's what we're doing, is we're maturing those systems, emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual, that through those quadrants, and that's what we're doing. So today is all about panic. The last few days, the energies, the light codes that come on is that we're meant to address panic. Now, this is what's happening all over the world in different times, different legs of times, and this is in order to change the collective consciousness, in order to change the paradigms, we can work on them individually. And as I go inward, not do it externally, but I go inward and I begin to heal all of those that affects my outer world. Your inner world creates your outer world. As you change those programs, those filters, those emotions, and all of this, please use the tool, because if you don't, you're just going to hardwire yourself to be more into suffering. Whereas when you're using a healing tool with your body, so the innate healing begins to happen, and you can be your own tool, then you don't have to hardwire yourself back into fear. You can allow yourself to start bringing in the joy circuits that everybody's hardwired to. So let's get back to this. So as you start to, process forward, and as you begin to move forward, and your programs of your first, second, and third chakra, sit there and think. Oh yeah, this is what's happened. Oh, I have it similar to that. You're checking in. You're seeing signatures. So your mom and dad pissed you off, and then they're dead or whatever, and all of a sudden you've got Joe Schmo down the corner and some other woman over here, or children will show up. And what happens is they will be the stand-in. The actor that's standing in for today's play is, and all they are is helping you recreate the scenes that you have devoted your life force to. This is why when I'm doing readings, I can say, oh, go back to when you're 4 years old. But I healed that. Okay, first of all, do you know what a spider web looks like? Or paint. If you were to throw paint, so you can't just say you healed it. I'm sorry. You have all of these different avenues because you think, you feel, you are being through all of these sensory systems. Just think of how many different things combinations you can put together. So the perspectives, all of these things, and then they change and they develop and they grow and they move in a different way. Because I'm unable to really get this, please make sure somebody puts the link on my other fan pages. That would be great. So what happens is that you're developing yourself in layers. You also are going to heal yourself in layers. So today has been about panic. Like I said, the last 3 days, that's one of the things that has really strongly been showing up. And we have this opportunity to change our inner world by creating the outer world. And as I go and do this on myself, I know that I'm helping to heal you. Every time Diana, Pilly, Terrence, Amy, Rebecca goes in and heals their shit, they will, please mute that, they heal their shit. What happens is, I'm going to have to mute you, Amy, I can't do it. When they go in to heal their shit, what happens is that they heal everybody else as well as themselves, because the root or the seed is within themselves, because they are consciousness. They are responsible for that particular consciousness seed. Okay, so let's go a little bit further. How do you change the whole? How do you change big ass collectives? So you can't see your own shit. And so you have to mirror it out so you see it with people. Boom, 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 boom. You got the first ring, second ring, third ring. And then you have the ones that are way out. That has to do with the collective rings. Okay? So, things will try to get your attention. Things will try to get you to say, look at me, look at me. And then this is the panic. This is the fear. This is where all of a sudden it throws you off track. So I watched this video once, and I could not understand what Spirit had gone and said to me, and I didn't quite understand it. Well, somebody brought the information through and made a video, and I cannot find that video for the life of me. But it was perfect, because all of a sudden it just rang all the bells. That's what's happening. So this woman made all these sugar cubes into a pyramid. And the bottom layer represents individuality. Every single individuality. It doesn't matter race, creed, culture, whatever. Religion, doesn't matter. These are the individualities. Then the layers upon layers, and then the 1% is at the top. And we have tried to say, we're gonna change this government, all of this, the governing, everything tries to change, but that 1% at the top never gets affected. How are we supposed to affect that? You're starting to notice the unrest, and that is, we're not going to just sit there. Part of the paradigm was people will do things, and then if they deny, then people are going to get busy with their lives, and then eventually it'll be time has forgotten it, and then it'll be like people get away with it. Nothing's changed, okay? Now you're starting to see that solidarity. You're starting to see that it's no. So now imagine these pyramid sugar cubes, and then you take and you pour in blue dye. I would say green dye now because we're in the color green. And the sugar cubes at the bottom, suck it in, and then it starts to go up the pyramid. It collectively changes all the way to the top. And it's the same thing when you go into a particular part of listening to the Bible. It takes 40, wandering around the desert for 40 years. You're talking about through time. Time, depending on how slow it is, can take a long, long time for it to change. Like we have had there, like some of us, we'll have certain amount of like our eyelids. If you look through time, there's certain particular parts of our ligaments and certain things like this we don't use anymore because it has to do with we don't use them. So over time, it genetically changes. Okay. So that's a part of an evolution. That's even slower yet. So, you, my loves, are human beings. You, my loves, are learning to become more of a spiritual human. You no longer can be human anymore. That concept of that was that you were living on the outside. That concept was, this is how you're supposed to live, this is how you're supposed to respond, you're supposed to see the external is the fault, but you're moving into the cause and the effect. You're no longer the effect with an E, meaning it happened to me, so if it rained, you'd get wet. But you're learning how to change the effect, which is the A, which is the effect is the emotions. So you're learning how to change the physical effect that happens to you by changing the A effect, that is the emotions that are buried within you. So if you're pushing the cause out and cause is pushing against you and it's like your fault, your fault, your fault, what happens is the learnings happen here. So when you learn how to use tools so the innate begin to heal, you are changing the A effect of the emotions that cause you to want to go towards or away from life. And so instead of battling what you resist persist, you are going to learn how to change your consciousness, because in the academy and little bits in the tribal are all about helping you see things differently. Every time you watch the video like this, that spirit does, they're teaching you bits, pieces, helping you understand. There's glossary. So becoming a spiritual human. I highly recommend becoming a spiritual human, because then you don't have to get caught up with hell. You're going to create a heaven on earth. So it doesn't mean that you're taking on a religion. You're taking on your spirituality. You're tapping into your higher self, your heart, and your natural gut instinct. This is the harmony of who you really are, which it ends up becoming learning how to be your authenticity. Okay? So that is your spiritual self that has a soul as a recorder, and you can learn how to operate by using the ego lens, by reaching into the quantum field and choosing better for yourself, instead of just, oh, there's a wave going by, I'm going to stare at that, oh shit, that was a bad one, I can't let go of it. No, you will literally be able to put the shit back, have a choice, and grab it again. So you are changing. The spiritual issues are coming to the surface for the finally, if you're wasting it, shit happens, experience, and you're wasting it and shit happens, then you're going to catch yourself being caught in the dark night of the soul. You're learning to resolve those emotions so you can take those mask offs that were created, which happens to be the shadow self. So you are learning to become more who you are. How do you like my hat? I got it so I can have any color, black, red, twisted, whatever. Okay, now let's get back to, so we're learning how to develop on the first root chakra to communicate as a whole, as a group, as a tribe, and everybody has their place, everybody has their purpose, everybody has that ability to have relationship on and off again. Amy, you can turn the camera back on, just mute this so that I don't have to hear the background, that was all. So, now, as you begin to do this, you are now tripping the second chakra. So the first chakra has a lot to do with, again, you're going down to that data, you're looking at old shit, And as we take in information, we are learning that we can't take in all information. So our subconscious mind says, hey, I'll help you. I will run this while you're thinking about something. We'll drive a car. While you're taking a shower, I'll keep you breathing and move the muscles around so you can wash your hair. So we have things that are on autopilot that are created, that over-identification, where we actually lose some of our 100% of our life force to go into programs that no longer serve, goes into programs that are unhealthy for us. Okay, so you're with me so far, right? That's weird. I see red. Oh, I see. Then now the second chakra. How do we communicate as humans? Men, there is not, I really wish I could start a men's group. And the reason being that I'd like to start a men's group is because men think differently than women. Men have always came across as they had to be a certain way. And there's a lot of men that are becoming very spiritual, but yet they still have the way they think, and which isn't wrong. It just means that they're learning how to break out of those paradigms, out of those pains, just like everybody's doing. So, what does this mean? Oops, Brenda, be quiet over there. I can shut off that self-talk because I don't need to hear that. I'm talking. Oh, speaking of, okay. I want to just remind me we're talking about men's clubs. Speaking of this, they have found in mice the schizophrenia is based on the sugar levels. When they started to give people the keto diet to create ketosis, the part of the brain that would cause them to be psychotic actually shut up. They started to return to normal, which means it's the way our body's metabolizing, okay, along with all the other functions we have. So that was like, wow, this what was he? I can't remember what kind of doctor he was. Psychiatrist, psychology. And so what happened was he was just trying to help this person that was over 300 some pounds lose weight, and he was, of course, of schizophrenia. And then it was just by happenstance. But Spirit says, hey, you're supposed to be the voice that helps bring in this knowledge. So there's good news on the front that it's about learning how to get our body to return back to a healthy stasis. And the way we do that sometimes is not just through food, but it's also through the emotions, the vibrations, the frequencies that are changing for the better. Just so I throw that in there. Now, getting back to the idea of men's thing. There's just frequencies. It's just different. And when a man tries to talk to a woman, the old way was there's a whole lot of freaking creepy shit going on, and we don't want to cross any lines, and we don't want to do this, but everybody, what it boils down to as a human is we feel rejection. Okay, now some people are one bad egg can really fuck up the bunch, and and those that keep trolling, those that keep doing this, but there are men out there. And I know there is men out there that is waking up that doesn't want to take that part that's a natural part of them to have aggression. They want to be assertive, but they don't want to have to feel like they have to be angry and violent, or that they have to be hurt and rejected. But there is a lot of men that are pulling away from those paradigms, and there's no support group. There is no. I would love to be the support group. I would love to be able to help, but we need to have more than one or two men that, and when men try to go for spirituality, they jump in, they find that most of them are religion. So if there are some men that do spirituality to some degree without having to do judgment, but it's about waking up. This is why I wish that there was other people out there. Then I would like you to step up. I'd like you to, I'd like to be able to have more men and women mingle, but at the same time, there has to be, can you understand me? Can you get me? And some of the language that some people do, we don't get them and we don't understand them. So it's learning to find and creating certain tribes. Hopefully this makes sense to you all. Now, I'm trying to find, okay, there's that board, that's that board, okay. So keep an open mind that men are finally starting to feel like they don't have to constantly hold up that frickin' paradigm that we're moving from. And there's a lot of men that are moving into that 5D world. And I'm hoping that I can make a difference in people's lives and help those men feel they don't have to be, because what I do is very specific. It is a becoming a spiritual human. And the glossary that we haven't even tapped into, the way we develop and grow, we haven't tapped into. Oops. Just stop pushing the wrong button. Oh, that's the other part, is that sometimes we rub people the wrong way. Are we surprised? No. We are not surprised. So, let me just take 2 seconds here. I got to figure out how to do this. And send. Oh, got it. When people begin to reach out, we have, over time, have learned to pull away. I was watching a video on TV of United States, because I come from the United States, but I live in Australia. Spirit does not pay attention, and so I'm watching, and I realized that there's this man is a bird watcher, so he's used to but he noticed this woman didn't have a leash on her dog, and he says, you should put a leash on your dog, and then she went into full-blown panic, and it came across as, I got to protect myself, I got to be crazy and throw that crazy energy out to protect ourselves. And somehow it came out to be a race card, and then it was, we have all of these different layers of issues that overlap, and they get so mingled. It's hard to come back to. But again, if we were to begin to heal and to look at some people that deliberately use manipulation, deliberately use things, but again, why do we do what we do? We are mirroring and learning how to come back to center. So when people are reaching out, oh, thank you. When people are reaching out, how do you treat them? So look at all these beautiful things. So we're going to just take 2 seconds and catch up in the group. Now, I want to talk to the group. I want you guys talk about a power team. Ooh, yeah, that'd be awesome. To Diana. Hey, and you know what? Maybe Alan is supposed to step into it. He retired from his work, and he's asking Spirit, what am I supposed to do? And Spirit is slowly unfolding. He knows he is my partner, and that not just in marriage, but in this business. But how is he supposed to step up? He's learning what Spirit wants him to learn. Right now, it's like getting the land prepared. And then once that the hard part's done, then it's just maintenance, and then step into the other field. So finding a new identity after years of having to work for another person, that transformation is very necessary. Okay, but the power team, yes, I think that's a cool thing. This is what I want to ask you all. Let's see if I can do it right. Have you ever sat there and just like look at your loved one, listen to them, and they're in pain? Okay, so what happens? They're in pain, and you don't sit there and think about your issues, but you think for them. Well, now you want to go into your self-defense. You want to go into how can you fix it. Ooh, yes, I like that, what Vicki just said. Alan and Brenda need to go into classes of conscious marriaging. Yes, because we're doing it, people. We're doing it. But I've seen people hurt, and I've watched people having to deal with certain issues. And what do you want to do? As a mother, you want to jump in and help your children, because that's what we're meant to do. But what happens when that individual feels like you're interfering, then you are helping. So if you're sitting there thinking what other people think, so you're thinking about how can I do this, how can I solve this, how can I make sure that's less, do you realize that you're taking on karma? You're throwing off the karma balance, which means all of the things that they're supposed to learn, you've now taken on. And they haven't developed the skills. And the whole point of growing is we develop skills, finding for ourselves. Now, it doesn't mean we have to be left in the wind. You can learn to do support. You can learn to show up in a different way. So what does this all mean? Well, when you get in that state, notice the pains and the twangs that you have. Go heal them. It's very important you do. Otherwise, you're going to want to reach out and just solve and problem solve and fix. And another big issue is that if you can see something like I see, you can see the whole picture, and it's hard to communicate with people when they are asking you to agree with me. Not necessarily fix me, but agree with me. And we begin to do all these things when we feel for the underdog, when we reach out and then they ignore you, and then it hurts. Rejection is awful. Rejection can hurt. So when you are, one of the things I did was stopped reaching out when I was a kid. Because every time I reached out, I would get my hand bit. And the pain was awful. You would call you sensitive because you were hurt by what was said. They would bully, name call, because they're standing in the position of, what? I don't understand why you're acting that way. And then they would give their 2 cents, but that's not how the person feels over here, and then when they receive it. And then if you are an empath and a kinesthetic and a sensitive, then holy shit, it's really your soul saying, time to mature all at once. And you're like, ah. But you don't know that as a kid. You just know it hurts. So if you're sitting there and you're thinking about your loved ones and how you're going to, how they're hurt, how you're going to figure it out. And what happens is, as you think, your emotions become a chemical peptide that allows you to get the motivation, or I got to solve this. What is the true thing that you're trying to do? Are you trying to solve them because you don't want them to go through it? Or are you actually going back and healing your shit, wishing that people were there for you, or you couldn't think about how to solve it then, so now you can, or you have thought about it all these years and you developed a way to solve it. So now it gets very complicated. But emotions help form beliefs. And beliefs will just create these certain emotions. But where do we get these beliefs? And they stem from values, towards or away from. What is important to you? To really go back, you need to go back and you need to decide. And what do they need? You have to. What is important to you? It's important that other people feel better. Okay, great. But are you giving them the opportunity to have the skills to do so? Are you able to put that out there in such a way that they begin to understand? Because if you're not, then they're going to learn how to rely on you. There's nothing wrong with wanting to rely on people, but you won't have the skill. And the other old ways of doing it was that you made your kids tough by beating them up, swearing at them, doing all this and that, throwing them out in the world, and to make them tough so they can figure it out. But that didn't work either. Give them tools to heal. Resolve those emotions the way they think. And then they can start to develop and evolve. Because I don't mind being a support group, but when that support group is that you teach them to always rely on you, then they are like a person that's been in bed all the time, or then you never used your legs. So when you're trying to figure out how to stand, the atrophy doesn't, you didn't develop those muscles to stand. Remember how I told you, if you look back in time, the way we had a different eyelid and the way that our so we used to grab, we don't have those tendons anymore. We don't use it, we lose it. That becomes what happens. And when you begin to help people build their muscle, you don't, you can support them to some degree, but get them to think, get them to problem solve, find out what's important to them. Because if they are living in decisiveness, a lot of times the decisiveness will come in because the gallbladder meridian holds that belief, is that there's a panic. If you come in and you have to be perfect, there's a panic. And the indecisiveness is that I know that I want to make a decision and do this, but I know that they're going to yell, they're going to balk, they're going to rebuke, they're going to, chastise. And so you don't want that. So now you are going, what do I need to do next? And so then you turn to ask somebody else because they have shown you in the past, maybe they observed or it happened to them, that they didn't make the right decision. Therefore, what's the point? Or you made the decision and they told you how stupid it was. Again, it plays on that panic. So now let's look a little bit. When you're treated a certain way, this is part of developing that emotional quotient, the intelligence quotient, or the mental and the spiritual, which then will help the physical. When you're little, have you ever been so hurt that you're going to take your cookies and run? And what does that mean? It's just that you're like, fine. So with Facebook, here's an embarrassing thing, but I know y'all done it, so I don't have to feel alone. Years ago, when this first started, I didn't know how to reach out to people. I was always been alone. I never had anybody to do this with, and I started to get certain friends, and then that's fine. And then reaching out to actually ask people to be my friend, and then some people called me creepy, and I'm like, what? And that's when I started learning about the creep factor and how people are fearful and they lead with fear, and I have to, I learned to respect a lot of things. But so let's say all of a sudden you get into the state and the other person does not play ball. Let's say you're throwing the ball back and forth and you're learning how to communicate, and so you throw the ball and then they don't respond, don't see you, don't acknowledge you. They see it but make no comment. Now there's a bunch of reasons, but it's how you see the reasons for this. And so then all of a sudden you're like, oh, fine. So you felt for them because their story sounded like your story. You figured you could connect. And then you decide, okay, iPad, put something on your wall. I'm taking it off. I had all these likes. I'm going to unlike everything. I sent you a message and I'm going to, do all these things. And when you begin to take back because you're saying, I don't want to support this, a lot of times that you do it because the only way you can end the hurt. Even with the healings I was doing, I still had to end the hurt. I had to see the different pockets that came out of it. And then what it boils down to is out of sight, out of mind. You don't want this reminder of pain and suffering. I didn't want this reminder of pain and suffering. I did it to Alan. Alan and I have gone through... well, now I'm confessing, all these different avenues of being human. And that's why you can't just be human. You have to take it up that next notch of waking up to who you truly are. And it's not that you're trying to hurt them, but yet you are, but you don't want... So there's all these tiny hidden agendas of pains. Pew, 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 pew. And if you're not aware of these tiny little agendas, then you're doomed to repeat things until you actually fully see them. And then, but if you're doing it in ego mindset, you're just going to keep repeating them, and you really don't want to waste anymore. It's time to stop this particular repeats. I got to the point where, yes, the silent treatment, when there's a difference between the levels of silent treatment. Everything has a level, minor to complete major. I learned growing up that when people spout, it was just best not for me to say anything at all. Because number one, being a kinesthetic, you freaking can't say anything at all, because you, as a kinesthetic, you begin to become aware of the whole bigger picture, and you're like, oh, okay. You don't see any reason. And then, of course, the spouting of that person, whether it's a sibling, so that tells you where I'm going, or where I'm getting my memory from. So what will happen is that you learn to shut down. Now, as an empath, you can see where they're coming from on another level, and you can empathize to some degree. But as a sensitive, you can begin to feel where you get to hurt and twangs. And then as I got older, I learned how to understand that those are their thoughts, their feelings, their boundaries, their stuff. I don't need to absorb that. I don't need to take that in. I can begin to see, I've been there. Oh. So over time, it was just easier to just not say anything at all. And then those that really wanted, I was in my first marriage, and so the can't say that either. This person decided, because I had fainted, and apparently, in front of everybody, and it was hot, and I'm like, and so, but when I woke up and I came out of it, he started to chastise me in such an extreme way in front of everybody to gain power, to really hold that power, but the meanness. And he wasn't worth talking to. I'm not going to waste my breath. And of course, he used that to his advantage of saying, oh, look, cat got you down. And I'm like, yeah, and you're the 2-year-old that's throwing a tantrum. But I didn't say it out loud. I just held my power. And then I walked away. And I had, at that point, had stopped. Oh, I should have said this. No, I didn't. There was no way. Why lose power over it anymore? I just know that I'm not in a line anymore with this whole bunch of people. And it's not that I was hurt and going to take my cookies and go home. It was, I'm tired of hooking up to these people when literally we're out of sync. So much so that, so I began to heal my pain, because you don't want to take your baggage with you into the next lot of your life. So I healed them out. The silent treatment, which can be hurtful, turned into, I just sit quietly now into support, because I cannot communicate with people that are in different frequencies. So I can be there as supportive, but I know that there's no point of me talking, because I'm going to throw up as any signature they're having the issue with. So for me, I've moved into a different level of, I love you, and I'm there for you. It's not, I love you, but, no, let's start to remove the conditions. I'm just like, I'm saying to spirit in my head, what can I do? How can I help? They're just saying, just sit there and, And then eventually, it depends on who you are. If you let me in, I can just hold certain points and listen to you. And then all of a sudden, you began to resolve to evolve right in front of me, and I didn't do anything but let your innate healing begin to balance out the chemical process that's out of alignment. That you can start to take the energies off those issues and start putting it back where it belongs. So the tendency to go further when you're hurt is you just want to ask why, confront, ask why. When you just got to know, why'd you break up with me? Why'd you do this? It's the why factor. And it's like, there's got to be a reason. There's got to be a reason. When we were younger, we took what the pain was and turned it on ourselves and said, oh, it's my fault. Because basically that's what you felt, heard, and seen through energies, and maybe even through hearing it through the adults, is that it's your fault that I feel this way. See what you made me do? Blah, 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 blah. So when you start to break down those As a mother, it was like my kid's throwing a tantrum and I'm losing it, and I'm just like, see what you're making me do? And I'm like, but I ended up learning that, okay, look, mom has some choices here. Because of your behavior, mama can put you in timeout. Mama can lose it and scream at you. Mama can, and I'm listing all these different consequences, and you know, that was for my benefit. Yeah, because they couldn't hear me. They just had, I want that particular outcome. Ah! They won't change their behavior. Children won't change their behavior, and that's part of the development of who they become. Some of us have not grown out of changing our behavior into a mature aspect of ourselves. So, but I stood there and I wasn't trying to over talk and keep going, because I also had that in my face that, you know, I feel better, it's off my consciousness. Yeah, no, but they spent 2 hours saying shit to me to convince me to live their life, their way, and it was tired and daunting. So when I see other people try to do it to me, it was like, I'm not falling for it. So the silent treatment was, well, like with kids, you don't look at them and you don't talk back, because then the engaging process of, because people's behaviors won't change, it's called stubbornness. But in my last marriage, it was, you're stubborn, which was his code for, I resent you because you won't do as I say. I'm thinking, I'm not here to obey you. You either include me in this marriage or you don't. You know, to come to terms to the man that I loved does not love me. He's just a fucking program. And it hurt. It hurt. So it was time to walk away. But when you begin to heal your baggage so you don't take it in the next marriage or the next relationship, friends, whatever, you have to take ownership to those little aches and pains. So, again, it's so important to understand how we put ourselves together, how we run to the end of our timeline. Why is that important glossary word? So that you can, shit, I'm doing it. Once you understand it and define it, and you catch yourself doing it, you can begin to heal from it. Oh, I'm going there. I'm running with scissors. That's another glossary term. And that is, you just can't help yourself but to go there. And so now you can't stop overthinking, and you're going there, and you're running with scissors, because now you could trip and fall and hurt yourself, but you could also hurt others. High beta. You know, I mean, if any of you students in there, start throwing out some glossary words that you have really helped you wake up and go, fuck, I'm doing this. You know, twangs. So it's important we learn how to become a spiritual human and the tools of how to do so, because it gets so fucking messy and complicated when you don't have an owner's manual. And this isn't an owner's manual. This is to help you wake up to resolve to evolve. That's another glossary term. It is to help you to realize that these emotions are frequencies and vibrations, and they have your voice is very important. So this is my dramatic stand of helping you understand that if you can begin to heal your inner world, you begin to change the outer world. And when you begin to change the outer world, you then change your perceptions. And then as you keep growing, you're going to start noticing that you're breaking out of the paradigms. And then when you're looking and you're watching TV and they're joking about fat people, and you realize, oh, I don't want to do that anymore. Or there's a joke about a black person. Oh, you just don't want to go there anymore. And you're like, yeah, they can be damn funny. But at the same time, but at whose expense? Or women's, feet are so small so they can wash dishes. That's insulting and hurting. And after a while, you realize, Wait, what? I mean, some of the jokes, women talk on the phone much. I ended up morphing myself and cutting out who I am. Yes, I feel. Yes, I talk. Yes, I communicate. Yes, I do things. Why do I need to cut those out just to satisfy the person that doesn't love me back? Why do we do these things? So you begin to mature in the mental aspect and the emotional aspect. And when you define, oh, God, I'm feeling this. Now we will pick one word, but if we really were to listen to the quality of the 41 thoughts per minute, the quality sucks. Okay. The quantity is, I am so fueled with anger. But what's the subject? Where are you putting your energy? And sometimes it boils down to rejection, acceptance. I'm living as a human being in the effect side of the equation with an E, and the effect side of the emotion is where I'm at. We need to pull out of there and stop pushing the cause out and learn to take ownership to the fact is that I'm going to resolve these emotions. Which is going to change the thoughts. And as I start to do that, I can stop believing and trying to protect myself, because the real value that stems from, here's your values, that it's what I believe in, and a lot of times you don't know who you are. And when you begin to understand your authentic self, witnessing, very good, resolve to evolve. Observe, not absorb, excellent. A grain of salt, consider the source. Those are huge too. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because accept, believe, and powerless. Yes, because again, it is when you have these words, you wouldn't think they have any meaning, but when you define them and you see how it is, then all of a sudden you have like this inside information that you've never ever had before. Betty says I'm asking this often. Because you will go back and go, I don't like my life like this. I am not a program. I want out. What is a lesson? Absolutely. So I get passionate. I have been, I noticed that the dodgeball had hit me, and I couldn't recover because I could feel the panic, and it was in my thymus, it was in my throat, and it was in my heart. Last night, one of the things that came to me was that the reason I can't see is because I didn't want to see hurt. And then all of a sudden, a flash. There I was, a little girl, holding onto my mom's hand as we're walking away down the corridor in the hospital. And I'm looking back and I see my father all wrinkled up and almost dead because of cancer. I'm sensitive. I can feel my mother and my father and the doctors. I'm an empath. I can understand on a deeper level what each one of those people are thinking. And as a kinesthetic, it felt like me. I could not stop myself from understanding and absorbing to morphine, and I just know that I did not want to see that in my future. Well, I guess I didn't need that when it closed down. And after a while, you run out of juice, no matter, even if you're plugged into source. If you are running on empty and you haven't got ahead of your issues. If you don't get ahead of your issues, they will own you. And it's like when I was in the hospital and I had this gallbladder issue. It was extreme. The pain. Drug after drug after drug after drug. And finally it's like, oh my God. And I says, why did it take so many drugs? They says, because we have to get ahead of it. Never occurred to me. That's what we do. We have to get ahead of it. That's what we do with pain. We got to get ahead of it. So let's fight back. Let's do this. Let's strategic. But what if we were to heal and get ahead of it by using a healing tool and letting the innate wisdom direct? You can get ahead of it, and you won't have to suffer anymore. You won't have to go into that to which the pain is there anymore. You can be changing who you are. Okay, so there's a lot of talk. I realized it's been an hour, but it's been a whole weekend. And this was, amp and ramp. Yeah, don't waste it. Yeah, that's what I wanted. I didn't want to waste it. So Spirit says, let's pour this through this woman. I'm like, yeah, I was fully aware that they picked out my outfit the night before, which is not something I do. And they're like, since you did that crocheting, I'm like, oh, thank you. Yes, we'll do this. And I always said I needed a crown, and, so here it is. So we're going to get ready to draw the chance to draw. What are we drawing?
Draw for the 15-minute read, and I do believe you have a 6-minute.
Excellent. So we're going to first draw the name. Amy has her, I can't, because of Zoom. She's got all the names in there, and I'm watching her. She's stirring it up.
And I'm not looking in here.
Yeah, she's looking at me like this, and her hands like this, and she's going to draw the name. Who's going to be the winner? Come on. Who's going to be the winner? The winner is? As soon as she
It's Tracy Wallace.
Tracy Wallace. Awesome. So, Miss Tracy, you have won a 15-minute read. So, as soon as we find Tracy and we tell her, and then whenever she wants it, she can have it. We are going to go into the, this one. We're going to go in, I'm going to check to see if there's any, blah, 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 paid readings. And this is how I get my food in my tummy, by getting these paid reads. And let's open it up. Let's see if we can get there. Oh, why, yes. Oh, thank you, Betty. She paid for class. That's excellent. Sharon. Oh, never mind. That's the membership. Yay. Somebody is coming into this membership. We love that. So somebody has a Facebook reading. Your name here. So if you're in the room, it's Yuliya Vash. V-A-S-H. Yuliya Vash. I can't pronounce things. Anyways, if you're in the room, let us know which room you're in. Talk to us. Talk to me. Yes, you will be the first to read.
It is JJ. I don't know if that makes a difference.
What's that?
The email that I got saying that there was a 6-minute, that she had paid for a 6-minute, the name is JJ.
Okay, because the second one is Allison Zenzi Levine, paying for friends Claudia's. So we have to find out where Claudia's, that's second. And the third one is Sonia. So if any of you would come forward, that would be great. Eula Anna, Facebook reading. So it's Y-U-L-I Anna. I'm not sure. And then you have Allison, which is, we look for Claudia, and then we have Sonia. So that's the order to which we're looking for. So yes, Marie, we have you. Oh, there's Yola. Yeah, there she is. So we have Yella. So the other person is Claudia. We're looking for a Claudia. So Yella, you're first. Because we don't have the beautiful option to hear you, we have another option. Now, I know you're not my friend per se. I don't think you're my friend. Oh, Yella and JJ is the same person. Yay. Okay. So, did they have what they wanted to ask? Did they write it in the email?
Yes.
Okay, we've got this.
Okay, let's see. My question would be, should I move to Austin? Also, any more details about my twin flame? I'll take anything else about my higher self.
Okay.
My higher self.
So those are standard questions. But they are major concerns for people because it's like I noticed that a lot of people have been in this reset and they have been changing direction. As I look, I'm just going to jump in with to moving to Austin. Now, I'm going to look the energy of that space that you're in. Are you meant to be in line with it anymore? No. Are you more aligned to moving? Yes. And there are things that you need to close down, which means certain relationships you're going to have to say goodbye to. As I was moving from United States to Australia, I looked up in the sky and said, oh my God, I'm never going to see these stars again. And so I said goodbye to them. And I felt the love of balancing it out, taking my power back and saying thank you. And so then when I saw my friends and I saw the landscape, I said goodbye. So there are certain closures. My businesses, my stuff like this, I had to say goodbye to. So closure is a must. So you can take that energy with you so you don't get physically sick. Okay, you understand? We don't want you to get homesick because you have to take your energy with you. That's why you have closure and say goodbye. So yes, I do see a lot of moving. Coming closer to the twin flame, one thing that they're saying is that as you start to work on depletion, that feeling of depletion, and that you have an auto response, and one of the auto response is feeling like there's impending doom based on an active memory that you had as a 2-year-old. And how you'll see it is when you'll get people around you that will broadcast their fears and you somehow can't help but to relate to it, and then it feels like you. So when you begin to heal those feelings, like for instance, learning how to do OMG, which is this is the OMG, and you're learning, put your hand on this so that 80% of the blood that left your forebrain in stress of impending doom, when you're holding it, the blood will come back up, and then it will help you get out of stress mode so you can stop doing this particular program. When you start to resolve that and to grow out of those, what will happen is you will draw that twin flame closer, because the twin flame is on the planet, but energetically, the vibrational frequencies are not aligned yet. Okay? Because they're not aligned, then you can actually take an active stance, like I said, to resolve from evolve from, do you have to think impending doom? Do you have to fall for what everybody else's reality and think it's yours? You can resolve that motion, the emotion pending, to pull it out of that type of thinking so that you can learn where you end and other people begin. Then you'll start to vibrate and line in, and that person will come in much stronger. Do you understand? Learning to stop being irrelevant. Your voice does matter. The relevancy that you're looking for is this acceptance. But when you begin to find your voice, it is knowing that how you define your world and speak it, not define it because this is how people think about it, the right and wrong, and you have an opinion, Who are you? What do you believe in? How do you feel? And when you communicate and you're like, okay, this is what I think, this is what I feel, this is the subject I want to talk about, this is what, you'll start to maneuver, to gravitate to healthier alignment of people, and your voice will matter. So as like I tell my crew, students, peeps, whatever you want to call them, when I say paraphrase and they're like, oh, well, she said it. No, your voice matters. We've learned that a lot of times our voice don't want to matter. So if I look at the irrelevancy, they said that when you were little, every time you expanded who you are, you had created instead of being compatible, you created a repulsion, which means the environment to which you were in, you now physically get sick of. So like for instance, let's say I like bread, because of the circumstances of the feelings, the emotions, the fighting, the experiences, and I'm eating bread, it's going to be tainted in that to which I eat. So then now my body's going to say, ooh, yuck, gets physically sick and create a repulsion against it. And we're going to call it food issues. But if I were to heal the energy and the relationship of the emotion that dropped it, that changed it, then I could eat bread again. So you, my dear, you have heard disapproval every time you expanded yourself. Now that's not right, dear. We're just gonna do it. This is the way. That's just if I can't do it, you can't do it. Type. Finding your voice, finding your peeps, finding it. All About Steve is a great movie where she found her peeps, and she found that she loved herself. So right now, that depletion of feeling awkward all the time, your body's like going, you're just getting worn out. It's like putting your foot on the brake and the gas pedal at the same time. The feeling of awkwardness. I would definitely say that if you wanted to heal awkwardness out, you hold up your left hand and you find under the thumb is a point. You put your thumb there, push in deep, put your finger here, and wrap around. You place it on this position like this, and you stay there, and you measure your awkwardness from 0 to 10, 10 being, oh my God, and you'll think about all these things. You keep your hand there until it's none left. Your thinking will change because the chemical process of the emotion will change, and then that feeling of awkwardness can be resolved out so that you can grow into a different direction. You're starting a whole new world from what I can see. You may as well start resolving and leaving that baggage behind by resolving out some of these emotions. The part of you is that you've had to cope, so you've been taking on certain coping tools, and eventually you're going to be able to resolve those out. Betty's right, glossary term, chemical peptide. So have we ever found that Claudia? That second person was paying for my friend Claudia's reading. So have we found her? Amy, I hear feedback on your end. I'm not sure what's happening there.
I don't know why. There's no... I have no idea.
Okay, so Allison Levine.
Allison is the one that gets put in the drawing, right?
Yes, and guess what? Yes, you have Yala Anna, which is JJ, or however you want to define her. Oh, what happened there? Then your name has gone into the drawing for the month of June, so you can win a 15-minute free read. So now the next name that goes in is Allison Levine. I don't know what she goes by in real life or on the Facebook, but put in Allison Levine anyway, and if she shows up with somebody else, we can put the AKA nickname. But anyway, so now Claudia. And then Marie, you will be after that. Okay, so let's look for Claudia. Claudia, what would you like? So am I looking at Allison Levine to be able to do Claudia? Is that what we're doing?
No, Claudia is here.
Oh, there she is, found her, Claudia Energy. Okay, sweetheart, would you want me, because I can just pick at whatever spirit wants to talk about, a cold read, or you can tell me what you would like me to know. And the same for Marie, kind of have a heads up of what we're going to, what you want me to. Oh, can you advise me on help with dealing with grief? My dog died a few days ago. Aww. Okay. So, yes. Now, what happened? Marie just had something up, and I was going to read it, but it disappeared. Okay, hopefully that was just taken down and not Facebook. I don't even trust after these things. I hope that nobody disappears. But Claudia, if you're willing to do this, then this is what's going to happen. I see that you can't help but be reminded, and your eyes go there. Your eyes go there. Your thoughts go there. And they said the best thing for you to do is to allow yourself to know that there is a pain process that you go through. So if you could just learn to take either hand and go like this. This is where I missed my video. I want you to put your hand up like this and leave it there while I'm talking to you through the whole show. What I want you to do is, on a scale from 0 to 10, feel that grief. And if I asked Spirit, would you like her to hold a point? And they said, yes. Interesting. So you're learning, you're in a developmental state, which means there's a part of you that's learning how to grow and understand death, the loss, the grief. And so they're saying, so do you want her to? No, they're just for my benefit. So it's about development. So right now, this is all you're willing to do because there's a part of you that needs to understand it's not about losing them. Because when you are feeling this grief, that you're going to look for trigger things. Trigger things that's going to make you angry so that you pull out of grief. This is part of your old pattern. And it's like you are meant to deal with people that don't know how to... So when people say something, you're going to take offense. It's going to hurt. Oh, wow. I'm sorry, your 2-year-old self is like really crying hysterically with me right now. And as I'm dealing with this, someone from the other side says the defenses are so there because I feel like you have identified with that people get to you. So your identification is, they get to me. People get to me. And the dog, the beautiful dog, kind of took some of that energy that was working with you. It took it on so that you would feel not having to be alone. So but the defense, smack between the eyes. What are you talking about? What does that mean? Being smacked between the eyes? That it came out of left field? No. There in your face? I don't know how that goes. But the pain of how people get to you is so, wow. I just want to hug your 2-year-old self because it's in hysterics. It does not know how to calm down. This is why we're doing this, is so that it can actually begin to help heal that layer. So that's what we're doing, and that's what you're doing. And there was this, somebody was very jealous when you were younger. And what happened was that the pain of their jealousy actually is what really gets you. So now they're showing me that it goes a little bit further. Looking for who? The 2-year-old? Yes, the 2-year-old is looking for, am I relevant or not? Am I important or not? Am I there or not? So what is this? Oh, shit. Okay. So we're just going to ask Spirit just to help you a little bit more and just understand that you are important. So so the jealousy made you feel irrelevant. It said that you didn't matter, but you do, sweetheart. You do. Oh my God, now I'm getting like nauseated. Your body wants to process. It really does. It's really, the dog, you loved the dog, but the process of losing that dog has hit you harder because it is the bond and the relationship that you had very strongly with this dog. It's like, where's my love going to go now? Where am I going to get my love? Where am I going to get that support? And there's all of these emotions that are running through. So I'm going to talk to this 2-year-old just a little bit more, honey. And they says, I can't do it alone. I have low self-esteem. I mean, it's just that, and it goes back to how you identifying with jealousy. So again, how they get to me, how they manipulate, how they get to me. Yes. Okay. So, the person played. So what happens is that energy keeps getting resent again and resending again. And so there's a loop. All right, let's go a little further. And as the body learns to, now here's the thing, you didn't fail. You didn't fail. You didn't fail. Everything's playing out the way it's meant to, and you didn't fail. So taking on that responsibility, when you were 2 years old, you were forced to take on that responsibility, which wasn't yours. And that is part of why it's hard for you to be with that dog. So again, stay with this. Fall asleep if you have to with this, but do it as many times. Notice you've got to measure from scale from 0 to 10, 10 being, and when you start to get it to come down at all, please, 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 please witness. Please witness that there is a difference. Because without that difference, you're just going to go back. So, yes, you want it to go to 0 so that you can begin to open up that heart so you can feel your dog. Now, I will tell you right now, the dog is like a young pup in front of me, and frisky and happy and healthy, and it's excited, and when it hears your voice and when it moves, it is doing a gesture over and over, meaning he's done it so many times you have this ingrained in your mind. And notice that when you start to heal the pain out, you'll be able to swear he's in the room. Don't be upset. Don't get fearful and say, oh, because you are learning to use your intuition to connect. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, Marie, hold on, sweetie. Oh, that's fine. Sweetheart, your voice is important. No, no sorries about crying or anything. You are a beautiful person. Okay, so Marie, here we go. Wow, I just feel like I'm slapped down in the hole further, and I feel a bad memory just coming up, and it is bashing me continuously over and over, and the awkwardness, I'm stuck, I'm awkward, I don't know how to get past it, I'm stuck, I'm awkward, I'm stuck in this loop, and it's like, this is where we want insanity to stop. We want to allow ourselves to, we want you to, yeah, it's like you were forced to feeling small. So if you can grab your left wrist and then find the third position, which is right here, and put your thumb here, like that. And you are going to hold that soft, okay? Actually, we're going to have you hold it deep. Push your thumb in deep. And whatever, there, just whatever feeling, right there, okay? It's right there, sweetie. It's right there. Okay? So tell me what's going on. Keep your hand there and just allow yourself to feel. Now, Amy is sending love too. She's using the Baba ones. She's just helping to help support. We're doing this. Yeah, I don't want to say too much. I'm just going to, you keep healing. I'm going to pause this and check back with you because this is a big one. And so we're going to just keep healing, and when you feel like it's shifted, you let me know, and then we will go to the next part. Okay, Marie? This is my extended time for you right now. You willing to take care of yourself and pay for it? That's good. So, Miss Aimster.
Yes, ma'am.
How are you?
I'm better than I was earlier today.
Ah.
I spent pretty much most of my day morphed into my great aunt.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
How do you know that? I mean, Amy's Amy. How do you know that, Ames?
I could not get myself out of wanting to just burst into tears.
So emotional. Okay, so you have an emotional response, and did you feel like that wasn't you?
No, that wasn't me. I'm like, and my stomach was really upset, and my stomach doesn't get super upset to the point where I want to go lay down and just shut out the world.
Gotcha.
And
so what did you do? So what did you do to correct it? You became aware of it.
I became aware of it. I said my name 3 times. I did did the Celtic weave, I did connecting heaven and earth, I did the hookup, and I remorphed, and I did all that again, and I think I did it about probably 5 times today.
Okay, and so remember this called in a glossary word, the chemical peptide dump, which means you literally need to make sometimes to do this so that the burns out the rest of the chemicals.
Yeah, and I did those a lot today too. And I just, before the show, I laid down and I
OMG'd it, yeah.
Yeah, OMG'd it because, I mean, there was nothing else to do.
Okay, and you feel like you're back to normal?
Right now I am,
Yeah, you're happy. That's good. That's good. That's good. Okay, so Sharon Gordon has paid also, and so what I'm going to do, because this is a big one for Marie, is that we will keep in contact with that, but Sharon, you have, because we are friends, we can do it just like everybody's been doing it today, or you can call, and we can heal it that way.
How much time is left on Sonia's timer? I will write that down.
Oh, good. 4:16. That would be great if you would. 4:16.
Okay.
Good job, honey. Keep going. Marie is noticing how. Yep. And seeing that's where okay, so now notice, add the word dread and forced to feeling small. When you're, notice how you accepted it, you believe it, and you had no choice, but you gave your willpower away. And so while we decide what, down to a 6. Okay, so that's where you're at, is that you're going to keep holding that same point, Marie. Amanda says, hey Brenda, so updated on an anxiety and everything we worked on earlier this week. I've done great. No more speaking judgment of myself through my husband. Yay! No more heavy chest on or my throat. Yay! But as soon as I joined live tonight, I got heavy chested and throat again. That's because you're just so Amanda knows. What happens is that there was a trigger that because you have a memory. And so there's another thing to do with 8 years old, just so that you know that. That's part of her 1 minute. We'll do the 1 minute for her, and then make sure, for Amanda Gibbs, and then we'll look and see where Sharon is. So 8 years old, and you had to deal with hysterical people. So energy outside of yourself actually influenced you. So when you came on, you could feel different energies of the room, and so then your body responded, and so your body has responded, and that's part of a dark night of the soul, which means the habitual action that to which you're not aware of is coming to light, and it's ready to start to be seen. So what happens is that you're trying to find out, what it is that you want. So as you expand yourself, you don't have to feel mortification. Understand, it's deep, deep shame. So you don't have to go there. So the galled nature of it all. Okay, good. My husband's answering the door. So you have to look at that galledness. Notice how you have to do false self-assuredness. Look that word up. Define what false self-assuredness means, because then you're going to start seeing insight of this program that you keep going to sleep for. Okay? Okay. So I'm listening to the outside, trying to understand what's going on. Mailman had lots to say. Ooh, Marie, you're down to a 2. Move to L2D, left wrist, this time the second one, right here. Push in deep. Notice that you have to hide behind mask. So, Sharon, have we found Sharon? Not yet. Okay, so Sharon, where is my Sharon? Yes, okay.
Solution.
Huh? Medicine Woman Solution?
Yeah. Sharon, you call her, call on Messenger.
Yeah, see, the dang thing closed down on me. That's why I didn't see it.
Yeah, you just call on Messenger like you're going to call anybody on Messenger.
Found her here. Okay, see, there we go. Yeah, because of the darn things, it just really bothers me that we have to do this. Yeah, you call. I can call you. Hey, I'll call you, Sharon. How's that? And then I'll put you up on this. So I will find Miss Sharon, since she's willing, Miss Gordon, and then we will go from there. And volume up, Brenda. Hi, honey. How are you? Oh, now hopefully I can put you down so you're not seeing up my nose. Now no one can see you but me, but that's okay. Now there, can you see me okay? I'm crooked, but that'll work, right? Oh, you look so pretty too. All right, now let's see if we can get you to sound and hear. Maybe if I put you right next to this one. I got two phones and a computer. I mean, this whole thing's whacked. I just wish Zoom was working. All right.
Zoom's not working?
No, it crashed. I can't. It says I'm forbidden. I paid for it, so I can't get into it. It's been 3 days since I can't get into it. Whatever program they're doing. So I was lucky enough to remember the old way of how I used to do things. So.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Now, I want to.
Marie says she's at a 0.
Excellent. We'll come back to you after we talk to Miss Gordon here. Miss Gordon, how can I help you, love?
I'm still really tired, but I feel Spirit wants me to know something. I just don't know what.
Okay. Well, here's the thing.
I'm not real connected.
Yeah. Well, the habit. Now, you're from old school that you have to have a job in order to pay for everything. And so you have a job, and you're like, but I'm not, and now I hear part of you is like, well, I'm not good enough for anything else, so therefore I can't really change my job. Do you understand? Because of that, you put yourself, reinsert yourself back into a pattern, which causes your body to say, I don't want to do it anymore. So it bitches, it moans, it complains, it hurts, it wants to say, it cracks, it creaks, and it's like, ugh. But in your mind, you're like, but this is what I know, this is what I have to do, and I'm going there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm going to ask Spirit, since she can't change this, is she going to continue to have aches and pains? They go, no, not necessarily. Like sometimes in relationships, you have to leave that relationship in order to change things. But for you, my love, they said, you have to look at how you can't cope. So let's talk about that. When you're looking at work, that is, I can't cope, okay? When you're like, oh my God, so-and-so talked, that's, I can't cope. So you are given a certain amount of your life force that you need so it won't cry and complain, bitch and moan and crack and creak. You have to learn how to heal by the I can't cope, because your body's only responding to what you're thinking, feeling, and being. Okay? So if you could just take and do a little L1D as well. Okay, so do that right now. We'll do it live with you. So, yep, that's it. Remember, there you go. Slap that up there. Push that thumb in. And on a scale from 0 to 10, 10 being, yes, I can't cope when shithead says this. Yes, I can't cope when they ask it. Yes, oh my God, here's the bitching of this. Yes, there's the union. Yeah. We're just going to let you know. Is it a 10? Where are you at with that? I want you to get it amped and ramped.
I'm thinking 4 or 5.
Oh, get it higher, sweet cheeks. When's the last time that you were like, okay, see, you're in comfort in your own home, you're talking to me, everything's good. Take and go there. When was the last fresh crap? Wounded pride. Oh, that's Sharon. She don't know what she's talking about. Be wounded, girl. Oh, what number are you now? Well, you're getting closer. Okay, we've got to do it again. What else?
9.5.
Yes, got to get it up there. Put some faces with it. Oh, that's a good one. Okay, she's got it. She's going to stay right there. Now, I'm going to... Now, Amy, Sharon's at 3. I'm going to go back to Marie. And Sharon, we're just going to have you quiet, and then I will come back to you in just a moment.
Right.
All right, Marie, my dear. She says she feels better. Thank you, but let's talk a little bit more, Marie. We want to understand the soul of why it happened, and there is an initial OMG. So, okay, I hear feedback. Hey, Sharon, can you push quiet, mute, just mute. Don't disappear on me, woman. Well, maybe you can't. Hey, she's got it. Okay, now here we go. So, Marie, that initial OMG started when you were 4. That initial OMG, when you were like, oh my God, you really have to understand that to which it just grabbed you and hooked you, because that is where you're stuck. And they're saying that you're ready to notice that it's the judgment from others that threw you into disbelief and chaos. So, are you ready to go further, Sonia, Marie, however you want to be called? Okay. And if you are, L1D. Wait, is that the one you wanted to be? Yeah. Because that OMG, because of that judgment, caused a severed love. And so every time you meet up with this, it just comes in and hits you again and again and again. So Marie, a little L1D, please. And tell me if you want to continue to play. Okay, good, she's got it. And this is the other part I didn't talk about in today's show. And that is how we know what an it is, an object. No empathy. They're just, you're an it. It's just Marie. It's just me. It's just Sharon. It's an it. It's like, I'm a freaking person, thank you. And you're not the dumping ground, girls. They have shit. You do not have to wear it. It's not your gown. Okay? This is where you start drawing the line. You're like, you may be throwing your shit. I've got my hazmat suit on now. And it doesn't matter because, sweetie, they have not let go of throwing their shit around. And what does this mean for you? It just means, first of all, I can't cope with it. Okay, it's the judgment. See it, because notice how you see it. And again, what I was talking before is the cause. You're pushing it out and the pushing back. If you were to bring it in and say, oh, I see it, and you're going to preserve all the positive learnings now. Remove, transcend, and let it go. And when you begin to just start to notice that, yes, I'm not resisting this, and I see it, but I no longer need to take on the way they throw it, the way that they judge. And every time it hurts, no, I don't need to respond this way. That is them. That is a program. They are actually the it, because I no longer need to show up as the it so they can feel better. To change empathy in this collective whole, I have to first realize I'm somebody. I have a pulse. I do have a voice. And I do have rights. But the reason we stay in that abuse is because, one, for Sharon, is that I got to work. I got to do this. This is how I got to live. I know no other way. It can be the same words with Marie. But a lot of times we like, this is our loved ones. This is what we love to do. Why should we have to be denied this? Why do we need to do this? Yes, good job, Betty. No longer accepting. It is feeling it, but just, I'm done. This is the way your world is. And the love I give, I'm going to give, but I'm not going to keep giving it to you so that you can abuse me. I am done training you to say, just keep treating me this way. So as you begin to keep your power and realize that they're a program, you will stop seeing yourself as an it. You're an it. No. Wait a minute. I have a pulse. I do matter. I do have a voice. So when you can, ooh, Sharon just shifted, didn't you? You felt that. I don't know why, but I see unicorn and rainbows that when you shifted. It's like, that's why it's like saying, what? Okay, so you look mighty cute with unicorn and rainbows. That's all I got to say. And then Marie, hopefully you're still playing. Now, notice, well, actually both do. Notice what inferior complex is. So Amy's going to look up the word inferior complex. We're going to get a definition that is a collective definition, and we're going to talk about it a little deeper. So these two women can feel that they do not have to feel this way. Just because somebody threw their judgment out doesn't mean you have to catch the damn thing. Dodge ball means you're supposed to dodge the ball. I'm a target! No! Have a pitchfork. The ball just gets... Yeah. Take you that. No, shovel that shit over there. All right. You're done. Okay. I'm trying not to make everybody laugh. Sharon's like, how do I take this seriously? Okay, go ahead.
Inferior what?
Complex. Or just tell me what inferior is.
It's an adjective, lower in rank, status, or quality, and then anatomy, low or lower in position. Like ulcers located in the inferior and posterior way of the...
Okay, so in the world we have something called what's a hierarchy. And the hierarchy is that there is a chain of events, that there is a hierarchy. One need versus another. And the hierarchy when it comes to relationship is that if it's forced, if it's meant to be that way, no. This is what collective does. So here is this equal quality of yin and yang. And all of a sudden yin says, I'm lofty over here. Now remember, this isn't about penises and vaginas. It is about yang and yin, which means it's about energies. And we've learned the position of what happens if we put this one vibrationally in a lofty position, and while the other one is in a lower frequency position. And it is that we believe that we don't have any power. But do you ever see how, as this is being lofty, have you ever seen in a pit crew where the car is here and then you put a jack underneath it and you jack that fucker up so you can change its tires? We can learn to not have to always be something to be rested upon. We can be one that can lift up. We can be the one that can be support, but we don't have to lose ourselves. So as we learn that, as we stop believing, wait a minute, why do I have to believe that you're fatter, heavier, superior than me? Because you spit, spout, and sputter. Why can't we be equal? Now, again, we help put them in that superior position, not because they do this, but because it's the belief. And why do we do that? It's because it's the value. Hi, Julie. It's the belief. But it's the value. Because beliefs come out of values. And the only way we really create this world is through the containers of values. And if we value, which is important to us, if other people are more important to us, or does it fall under safety, security, and stability? Ooh, Sharon did another shift. Very good. And you stay there until it feels like it's zero, and then you let me know, Miss Sharon. Okay? So the thing is that you're learning, and what's important to me, and is that it's at the outside. you're going to eventually go in and you realize what's important to me is that I am spirit first. I have a soul, and I'm going to look at this and direct this and heal this in a different way. And when you begin to do that, you'll find that it doesn't have to be separated and that it has to be overbearing. You'll start to stop losing power, for one. And there will be no more power loss. Okay? It's very, very important that you get this. Oh. So, Marie, you are actually good. Now, do you need any more from me, Marie? Because I feel like you're good. I feel like you actually feel that, because if you feel like everybody's against you, then you're going to apply it to every single person out there, and it can sabotage you. And you have to be okay with understanding that the little bit of responsibility is that even though, God, your fucking world is this, and this is the way it is. Oh my God, yes. But if we can wake up and realize, wait a minute, I'm a program, I'm losing power, then you won't have to do that self-sabotage, because it'll you will get yourself back into a little bit, great, Marie, you're better, sweetheart. It's good. You did the healing. Good job. There's a repetitive thought in your head, Sharon. You notice that repetitive thought? I feel like you're stuck. Are you aware of that? Okay. So if you can put the mic back on, let's talk to me. So what are you noticing with the thought? What are you well, you're petrified about something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Her body says yes, and the thoughts, because can you feel that self-imposed limitation? Well, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to do this. Can you see how you're saying no? At any time you have an away from value, it is I can't. It's the feeling of loss in power, and therefore you try to recorrect yourself. So I know that you've been wanting to move forward, but it's hard for you to move forward when your away from says, you have these self-imposed limitations, young lady, you better obey it. And you're like, but I can't do this, I can't do that. So you put your energy in that to which is important to you, is that I can't. And if we were to really look at the can't, it is I don't want something to happen. What don't you want to happen?
Oh, I don't want to get in trouble.
Good. Yes.
As far as I know, that's the only one I got.
L1S. We'll take that one. Left wrist, first position. But this time your thumb is nice and soft, Missy.
Okay.
Coming up against your limitations, and you don't even know they're there. I mean, they're born when you're little. Her, I don't want to get in trouble, happened to be when she was in her environment. She's not even a month old, are you? She's just a few weeks old. She's picking up the environment in her house. I don't want to get in trouble. Yeah, that could have been her dad, it could have been her mom, it could have been talking about the boss, it could have been church. You know, got to do the right thing. I don't know why I always want to sound like I'm Southern or something, but maybe naturally I came from there and just didn't know it. I don't know. So when you think about it, I don't want to get in trouble, is there a whole new number? What number are you at? I don't want to get in trouble. Not in your head, you're like, I don't want to get in trouble. But drop down, and you're going to go and you're going to speak, and you're going to stand up, and you're 6. She's got it. But you're going to be you, Sharon. You're going to be you, Sharon, in front of all these people. Who are you afraid you're petrified, but who are you really afraid from? This person, that person, the boss, shitheads in the corner, the one that's standing next to the trash can? Who are you? Anybody?
I was shy, basically.
See, it usually
I had a hard time dealing with anybody.
She just said it, did you? She didn't know how to cope with anybody. She didn't know how to deal with anybody. And it was the shy. And that is what she's looking at. So notice how shy you feel, because it is, you're looking externally for acknowledgement. Was that this action right? Was this? And if she's looking at gestures, because you got tons of gestures before anybody speaks. Oh. Oh. What if this person was looking at that person, but you thought they were looking at you? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, there she goes. Yeah, she's like, so facial expressions with her. She's got it. She's got it. You're doing good, honey. You're really doing good. I hope everybody learns from these things and help you understand that there are people out here that we all have similar things that are in common. And you can relate, you can feel, and we notice how to protect ourselves. We go in extreme judgment. That they extremely judged us, we extremely judged the moment, so her body's like, oh my God, so she judges back, there's the mirror, and then you look at other people and you are seeing that they are standing for the originals. They don't like me, da, da, da. But you're looking for reasons to stay in the shyness because you're trying to avoid the pain from shyness, and that you won't allow yourself to develop past your arrested development. So therefore, you can take your excuses and your reasonings that are attached to the away from and go, oh, see, they're doing it. Oh, they're doing it. And they're doing it. And you got proof because your eyeball says, here's proof. And you constantly, the pain is constantly saying, here's proof. And a lot of it is conjured proof based on things we saw and things that are connected, as well as actual proof from long ago, because our left brain only sees the past and the future, so therefore it's the panic within it. And there you go. Ooh, so do you have like one person on your mind? No. Come on, what facial gestures do they give you? Oh, God, here comes that Sharon. Look at me. Oh, here comes that Sharon chick again. Oh, she's so disgusting. So do you see disgust on people's face, or do you, contempt? Oh, my God, she thinks she's better than us. I mean, what do you... Am I helping? Oh, you love me. She's like, well, I get it. Hey Lillian, how you doing? Oh. Ooh, I just heard that the fear glosses me over. Well, that's an interesting way of talking, mate. Fear glosses me over. So you're saying, I'm just looking and listening to her, their fear, their insecurities gloss me over because that's how they handle with their insecurity, their instability, and their inferiority issues themselves. Oh, so their shit shines, and you're like, ew! You don't realize it, but then you think it's aimed at you, and you're like, oh, so a lot of miscommunication going on here. Everybody's got to put the defenses up. Oh, yeah, put them up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the thing is we need to really think and believe what we think. Do we really need to listen to that ego mindset and put so much faith into it? Do we really have to do that? Wait, is that just a fucking movie mind? Do I really have to put in the... hold on. That's not my true self. And therefore, you can start just taking the movie mind and say, I take my power back. It doesn't even have to be about people. You're just taking your power back from those pictures, from those feelings, from those beliefs. But if you're really hurt, you're like, you ain't taking this. I'm holding it. It's here to protect me. But if you wake up in your spirit mind, you're like, Jesus, I'm doing it again. You can start taking your power back. Literally noticing the color, the movement, the vibration, and say, nope, I'm taking my power back. Nope, I'm taking my power back. And you're saying, no, it's not that you're pushing the cause. You're taking your power back. And as soon as you do, you say, no, this gets beat to submission. It's like, resolves out. Instead of creating something, you get to uncreate it. She's like, wait, what were you?
I've observed, my ego is a bit shrewish.
Ooh.
And it's like, I like to slap it. Straighten up.
Straighten up, exactly. Good night, Betty. We'll talk to you later. So yes, and seeing what you're noticing is that now you're standing at a 4 because there's a part of you that says, well, this invalidation. See, the part of you says, well, I'm looking for acknowledgement, but if I don't look for acknowledgement, how do I get validated? And then you're like, but if I'm looking for invalidation, how do I get validated? And you're like, wait a minute, I'm asking the same question in a different way. Wait, why am I having to look for validation? Shouldn't I be validating myself and then presenting that energy out? Yes. So notice how you're looking for what you want and you need.
It's like you said before, that I seem to always be waiting for somebody to tell me what to do.
Yes, because that little girl got punished to some degree. I'm going to do it wrong. I'm going to do it. I mean, she's only a few weeks old. I'm going to do it wrong. I'm going to get in trouble. Having to wait. See, and then, of course, look what she did. She developed that she has to wait for somebody to tell her what to do. But it's based on that root. And if she were to start processing that root, looking out here, no, I don't need to look out there. So take your power back. Okay? Take your power back. Taking the power back. And when you begin to do so, see, now you just, did you feel that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It almost feels good kind of release it, because now as you do that, you can start to release the panic. And when you expand yourself, here I am! And that panic, when you go to do that, because you're waiting to be, I've done something wrong, is that, can you feel how all of a sudden if there's a panic, she knows, I wasn't, yeah. There was no problem with the audio, it's just me. Julie asked the question, does that cause you to be a pleaser? Yeah, that's one of the things that can come out of it. So, do you feel like you're a pleaser?
I feel I can't do anything right.
Exactly. So in your mindset, you feel like you can't do anything right, but you'll go along because you need food, so then you end up being a pleaser without realizing it, and you still feel like you still can't do anything right. And on a scale from 0 to 10, what number is it now?
2.
Good job. Now again, notice, who would you be without it? If that was my identity, who would I be without it? Because if that's all I know, wait a minute, do I even need to? Oh, but I have a lot of proof. But do I really need it? A little bit of contemplation actually can go a long ways here. Amy, I don't know. Okay, so Amy, I got her camera right next. I don't know how you have not unmute, but so I can hear her, right? But she can cough without making sound. She can giggle without making. She knows. Now, you want to talk about program, Sharon? Here's a girl that learned how to exist without making a sound. She could probably walk across the floor. I would have never known that she exists.
I was muted, love.
Oh, well, no, I've seen you do it without being muted. No, seriously. She probably could run around. I wouldn't even notice because she knows how to put her camouflage on. Hold on, let me get my camouflage banana. I mean pajamas! The camouflage pajamas. I was trying to be funny, but it wouldn't come out. Let me just put those bananas on. Oh, I don't need spirit giggles. Stop! She's supposed to heal. We got to be serious about this shit. Her thoughts are, she's really serious about, I'm going to get in trouble. Do you have to be that serious about being in trouble, apparently? And you got to constantly tell yourself that. Oh, come on, Sharon. Do you?
I've been trying to change, to like take my power back, sort of. Like, I was letting my body do my decisions as far as walking. That's why I couldn't walk straight. And I tried to pull that back. Says, no, that's not working. My brain's not the right one either, because your brain's just a computer to catalog your expressions and save things like a computer hard drive does. But the part that really directs you is I just found it again, and it's elusive. I can't always hang on to it.
Right.
It's just been a couple days ago.
Right, and that why, and they said it has to do with you did everything based on your safety concerns. I need to be safe. So in order to survive that young age, based on what she just said, was that I have to put on a mask. This is the real world out here. And in order for me to put my foot, I have to know if that's accepted. And if I take another foot, is that right? And her authentic self is saying that if you start to break down those programs, because she's getting knowledge, she just told you knowledge, and she's getting knowledge, so instead of being just a program, she's like, she backs up, she has the knowledge. See, she was fully aware. She said, I was letting my body do all the talking. And, I can't really let my brain do all the talking. So as she's getting knowledge, she's getting that part of her back to the point that maybe I don't have to be controlled or run by these programs, these emotions, these clues, these triggers. And so she's learning to do instead of try. She's learning to, what if I did this? What if I just showed up differently? Because when in ego, when you're trying to do it, you do it cockily, and then you get bitch slapped down. Irony there, But you move into a different mindset.
Right.
Oh, she just shifted again. I felt that one. How do you feel now?
Kind of like flatlined on it, not up or down. Instead of pause, maybe. Plateau.
Okay, so do you want her to continue that? No. What they want you to do, though, is to take your hand down. And the thing is that, like, when you start to catch yourself thinking that, you need to actually notice. This is where I would tell you to do your 1 minute thing, which is you take I would do it with a 2 minute, but you have 41 thoughts per minute. Okay? Breathe in and out. Then she's going to take and she's going to push that button. And then she's going to just think nothing. Just sit there and breathe. And then she's going to see where her mind drifts. So when you start to do a meditation, notice where your mind drifts, whether it's a minute or two. And she may catch herself to see where her energy is going. Oh, I can't believe that person said that. She needs to stop. I just thought about so-and-so out of the 41 minutes. You don't realize that you can be thinking that same thing over and over and over, and you're creating certain chemical peptides to drive you crazy, to put you back into old programs. So you take that minute or two, and then you reassess. And then when you do, you begin to see the quality and the quantity, and then the story. And instead of using your left brain to think it over and over and over, trying to resolve it, you can go in and just use a tool and say, I'm going to evolve it. And then I would say the next time you do so, notice, and I would have you do R1D, write this down because you're going to do this later, is the compulsion to put yourself back into the position of being a pleaser or whatever that is that you do of, I'm going to get in trouble. Just remember those words or whatever new words, because see, she can write down, I'm going to get in trouble. But because she's healed, it could change one word. Okay, and then, but the more you become aware of it, the more knowledge you get, the more you wake up, the more all of a sudden you get this control back. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm trying to stop the old programming when I find it.
Right.
And try to break it apart and try to do something new without programming.
Notice the compulsion. So look up the word compulsion. understand the feelings and everything that go around identifying with that word. And then when you feel the compulsion to become other than Sharon, based on these thoughts, then I would hold R1D, the right wrist, that first position, nice and deep, and put that on the scale from 0 to 10, okay?
Okay.
All right, I love you, hon. Thank you very much for coming on. I really appreciate you. And
Okay.
I'm going to bring you closer. Hello. All right, bye, hon. Okay, that was good. So, now, I mean, so I want you to get this. I want you to share. I want you to grow. I want you to heal. And I would like the 1 minutes to come up now.
Yes, ma'am. The first one is Michaela.
Oh.
And she says, I'm having trouble breathing from allergies, and I am really scared. I took my allergy medicine and am going to make an appointment to get inhalers, but I need help.
Okay. Yes, I'm going to reinforce this. Use all the tools in the toolbox until you can learn how to control, handle, deal, pacify, and stop having it. Because there is a acute chronic. So don't think that you can't use allopathic medicine with your divine self as you're changing. So please, safety first. All right, Michaela. You see this? You're going to do, and you're going to write down, and Amy, write down SI4, LR3, and that is for the left side. For the right side, PC7, LU9, for both is SP3 and LI4. Now, those are initials to the names of the meridians, and the intention is that you're going to think left, rub just the left side. You think right, think of, then just rub the right side. And then when you do both, you just, you're just rubbing. You go from both. So if you could type that in, what's happening is that I need the picture for you to go to. You know what? I'm wondering if I even have it up, because I was going to put it in my, which I'm going to have to do today if I have not.
The black hands and feet?
Yeah, do I have?
That is on the website.
Okay, I just have to figure out where it's at. Do you know what it's under? Source points. Is it under source points? Yes. Okay, so you're going, I have not, there's tons of it I've got to write, but I have not had a chance. My screen, where'd everybody go? Hold on. That one, okay. So I'm going to put the, Betty pinned, somebody pinned Betty saying, you're so sweet. I didn't even know she did that. So this is the, I put a link in there, and that's where you're going to get your points. Okay? And Amy is going to put in, and maybe she can write it in with that or wherever next to it, and then put the person's name. And then you look at those points, and you rub 30 times. Remember, intention first, then rub 30 times. Because these are designated for you. Oh, I think Amy sent me a picture.
Kayla, not that picture that I sent you. This is totally different.
Okay, well, anyways, it's in there, and it's from on my website, so you can see it. Now, what we're going to do is take the next 1 minute.
Patty, and she asked, am I in someone's thoughts, and can you describe this person?
Am I in someone's thoughts?
Is she in someone's thoughts? And can you describe this person?
Like, for instance, if it's Amy's thinking about me and I can describe her,
Yeah.
you're always in people's thoughts at all times. And it can be a person that just saw you on the street. And if she's trying to designate a particular person, which I think that's what she's doing, and are they thinking about her? Okay. So if you're doing that, and if I'm wrong, Miss Patty, then I suggest you tell me. So we want to direct it, because there is at least about 30 people around this world that have been thinking about you in some form, whether they saw your Facebook page, someone special. Thank you. So now I'm going to tune into that someone special and ask the question, are they thinking about you? Not at this precise moment, but have they been thinking about you? Yes. Have they been thinking about you in that way? Actually, yes. Have they gotten over their issues? They're starting to. They're getting closer. They're getting more, but they're a slow starter. Some people take a while to get their engines revved. But is that moving in that direction? Yes. And if I were to say, let's go a little bit further about this, Miss Patty, we will go in and we'll talk about this person. And they said, ooh, it's learning the trust factor. So there is building the trust that is needed for it to happen. And then there are different factors, like what influences them influences you. Like, does religion influence? How does that look? Okay. Then they said that you are to, what do you want her to free yourself of your so if you have influences, like for instance, if there's any certain that they have to, my standards, they have to show up a certain way. Oh wait, are you being influenced by who I think you're being influenced by because of the fact that you haven't resolved that yet? Yes. Okay, so your influence factor is the issue based on the subject you've been working with. They're saying that somehow will play a factor, and they're saying please free yourself of that so that you can begin to have this trust, that you can begin to grow into that to which is what you would like. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, who's next?
Miss Diana.
Diana. Diana. Try it. Ha. Okay, so apparently you have people up here that's trying to say it in a different religion or race, the language. To which it says, these suppressed panic, okay? They're saying it's time to notice that this suppressed panic discourages you, and this is why you go back into being into that state of feeling. So I want you to focus on your panic. I want you to hold L1D. Get in there and just start noticing the panic. The panic areas. The panic areas are right here, over your mouth. The panic areas are back of the head. The panic area is left side, right here. Left hip. Now, what you're going to do with those panics, because this is important for all people, I'm just going to extend this one a little bit, is that I need you to define it. I need you to notice that how focused is this panic? Is it internal or external? Does it have a tone with it? So is there a certain tone that's with this panic? Does it have a certain shape? Does it have a weight or a pressure, a temperature? Is it prickly? Is it soft? And what's going to happen is you are going to then take and start seeing it. And as you focus on it, as you're holding, did I tell her to hold where to hold yet? L1D, yes. Any other place? And you're going to look at it, 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 and you're going to look at it. And eventually, because you're using the healing tool, it's going to shrink wherever it is, move, change. Okay, you decide how you want to do it. Yeah, Bobby, we finally got to the 1 minute. Your name hasn't been called yet. Okay, so who's next?
I don't have an email for her either.
All right, we're going to take you next, Bobby. Good timing. So, Miss Bobby, there is a habitual intolerance. When we no longer can tolerate the dirty underwear on the floor, you're just like, I can't. And so you become habitually, I can't. And you're going to go there. And notice how that energy, so this goes back to how they don't like something, you don't like something. And they're saying that you have to begin to wake up to see this. Your decisions sometimes are based on other people's repulsion. Well, I don't like that about that person. And without realizing, you're like, oh, but I do that. Oh, God. And you start repulsing yourself away. So what other people you value and you think is important. Okay, so her question, and this is my question, was I found a crystal at the edge of my house while I was filling up the flower bed. Did someone plant it there for a reason? Actually, no. I feel like somebody had dropped it, and it was for your benefit, because I feel in a way that they could have been gnomes that did it. So if you did on that level, then you can hear that, yes, they planted it because there was a part of you that needed to release some disapproval energy that's in your space. So it's not intention of harming, but and crystals are amplifying the intention of healing. And clean it, pick it up, clear, 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 use your intention, use spirit, clear, 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 cleanse, 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 say it in threes, and leave it out in the full moon, or however you want to do it. But understand, I feel like this may be a little gift to you.
Cool.
Next.
Miss TP.
So I can feel something coming up against. So there's this, the cause is coming in, the cause, you're pushing the cause out, and something's coming up and against. And this is going to be kind of like a wrestling of a bitch slap. Do I want it? Do I don't? Because you've been getting actually clues from the other side that in a way has been helping in tremendously. So they're saying if you were to do a little L1D and notice that the panic is about work. So when did you start having issues with work? Who went out of the house and worked and you were left for your own devices? Because one person does this. Like, for instance, when my mother went out to work, it was so horrifying for me that I made work the enemy. So when I tried to grow up to have a particular job, I could not get into the groove of actually working like everybody else. It was torture. So work became the enemy. And that's what's happened with you. And so they're saying that you need to heal the disdainfulness off it, so yours would be L1D as well. Did Tammy's email go through? Who's next?
Yeah.
Okay, so who's next?
Miss Billy.
Miss Pilly. Hopefully y'all weren't offended when I took Bobby right then and there. It's just she was fresh. Let's get it done. Miss Pilly, you place way importance on something, which then causes you to dishonor. So sometimes what happens is that if we think we're like, yes, I need to do this, yes, I need to do this, yes, then what happens is you can throw yourself to go from one extreme to the other, and you throw yourself out of balance. Your ma, is saying that you're placing way too much importance on something, and notice that it's losing power. You're losing power over it. And she says that with the worry, or with an OMG, there's a part of you that puts you in a flee mode, which then throws you not to be able to get the end result you're looking for. So it's kind of like self-sabotage. And she says, come here. Okay, so L3D, yes, Missy, L3D, you're going to hold that down here to which it is, and you're going to heal out that, oh my God, I'm making it more important than it is. Okay, next.
Michelle Brumley, I need healing guidance about my swelling in my feet. Much love and gratitude, Michelle.
Okay. Well, your trigger warmer is going off, and there's a part of you that has been addicted to the emotion of being bullied. This is your 1 month old energy that you picked up in the environment of being bullied. And what did it do is it took the bladder meridian and diminishing who you are by taking that paralyzed will. And therefore it causes you to can't move, and then you're, because it's a bladder meridian, it causes the willpower. You invested your willpower, you acceptably gave it the willpower, and the swelling is that the fluids are backing up. And they said because you're trying to avoid something. So remember I told you towards and away, your body's saying I need to avoid. So if I ask what is it you need to avoid, and they said disapproval. So they said for you, you needed to heal disapproval. So that's where you're going to go L3D. I don't like being in it. Anyway.
Okay, Tammy is next. And she says, what do I need to know to get a bit of balance? Feeling a little off and overwhelmed right now.
Okay, so this is a habitual. The habit is creating this overwhelm, and because it's a habit, it'll be a certain time of day. It'll be all of these things. One of the things that occurs is they said that you are. Do you find that you're a suspicious person? If you find that you're a suspicious person, what's happening is that you have to know how you do it. What do you focus on that makes you suspicious, and begin to notice this particular habit. If you're not aware, most people don't know when they're paranoid, but when they're suspicious. So look up the word suspicious, find the particular phrase that works best with you, and beginning to notice, because here it says I'm looking for. So there's a party that's living externally, and you're looking for acknowledgement. You're looking for acceptance. You're looking for a green light. You're looking for, and they're saying that there's a part of you that's got to eventually come home. So the overwhelm. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's dealing with my ex today. So again, you're trying to look for, and it's here. You don't want to be crushed again, so you're trying to find the right way to do it. To heal that suspicion, you need to do a little L1D. Push on date. Okay.
Miss Vic.
Miss Vicky. All right. So she wrote an exceptional piece today. And it would be the words that I would use to some degree, and I'm actually quite proud of her. But it's important because she's beginning to start to notice where she's losing power, where it could be, and so actually I'd like permission to have that piece of article when you're finished, so that it can be added to my webpage, so that people can begin to see a little bit deeper into the story. So Miss Vicky, when you okay, it's because of the great excitement, understand that this is a phase and then soon you'll start to settle into who you are. The importance of lack. So you're learning what the importance of lack is. So right now, if you define lack as bad, you're not going to understand the lessons or the importance of lack. And that's where you're at right now. And part of your towards and away from is that I don't want to experience lack, but there is a gift within the lack, because then it helps you readjust to what is very important to you and finding more of your authentic self. And they said that you have pictures of loss that you wish you had back because you see it as lack. and you're living back there, meaning you have to come and live in the present moment. Okay, so to understand that loss, you have to understand jealousy, and so then our 3D, right wrist, third position, nice and deep. Next.
Julie knows. She says it's a beautiful day here in the Central Coast.
Ooh, yay! It's cold as hell here. Yeah, it's freezing here, but anyway, it's winter. First day of winter.
Okay, she's wanting to know. Okay, she said about not feeling good enough to be myself and being a pleaser.
Okay, so first of all, she just said not feeling good about herself. So she believes in that. On a scale from 0 to 10, I believe, that. But noticing that she's a pleaser. Now, why does she have to become a pleaser? She really took heart to what that one person we talked with. But it has to do with not being able to trust. If you're not able to trust, you don't have the safety, security, and stability, you will fall into a particular pattern because you're looking for that acceptance, that love. And so look at it, you're like, I just can't, I don't have, you just, so you have to give up your expectations so that you don't have to feel inefficient. You don't have to feel, and they said, inefficient. So what do you want her to address? To heal. Well, for her, she stresses herself about it because she doesn't want to go either way. There's, so she's in the middle. So L2D, and notice how that you feel like I can't give up this mask, but I need to have the mask on. And then you're like, but if I don't, then somebody's going to put their overbearing issues and their erratic energies and their aggressiveness. So definitely left wrist, second position, nice and deep. Next. Amber. And welcome, Amber. She has been, how do we put this? Oh my God. Brittany, a tribal member of Medicine Women Solution Tribal Unity, has donated and paid it forward a gold membership. So $36 she paid, and she said, my choosing. So I asked Spirit, out of all of the beautiful people, which one do you want that's more in line with coming to the tribe? And Amber was chosen. So we thank Brittany for paying it forward. We thank Amber for accepting, and we are saying welcome to coming to the tribal group. And we're finding our voice. Now, a lot of times people have been trying to, because there was a Facebook group, but a lot of people aren't ready for that. So that's okay. Don't worry. You don't have to talk in it. A lot of people have different time zones, and so you won't get responded right away, and so it doesn't look like it's clicking. Therefore, you feel like maybe it's not working. That's fine, but don't think you don't fit in. Whoever it is, just take it and look and continue to communicate into the tribe group it's meant to be for. This is where we create topics and threads to talk about. This is where, you can, if you feel like something's important and you need to ask a question about certain things, then post it. I get to see it, and then I get to prove it. Otherwise, if it gets approved, it's going to get lost, and I'm not going to see it. Because we have time zone issues, or we have different people in different spaces, then sometimes people won't see something that's been posted unless they scroll down. But we can do all of these little things. And again, the group is where we need to do our epiphanies, our talking, our developing, and to getting to know each other. So I may dismantle that other one for now, just because I want to create the group to be the group, if that makes sense. And eventually you guys can create the messenger thing all you want on your own time, but this way, because many people are saying there's too many notifications, you can shut those off. But then again, it feels like people are not responding, acknowledging, and having manners, and it's like creating this energy confusion. So I feel like we need to close that, keep it into the group for now, and you can develop relationships with other people outside. But right now, we have to find the tribal aspect of becoming a spiritual human. And until you can heal your wounds, I don't really want you to take the people and start projecting them inside the story of the group. keep your shit with other people. So we want to keep that space as non-judgmental as possible. So if you start to feel like you're hurt, talk to me. And then we can work through what we need to. So we want to keep it as non-judgmental as possible. And you think you can't? Trust me, I have been doing it since 2003. Just saying. Okay. Oh, Amber says, I've been watching the videos and the albums. Good. Also, Betty and I have looked at the website today to use the tools. Excellent. Okay. And the more that you do, the more this is your individual journey. But you have a home base. Okay. The tribe is, we're meant to be supportive to some degree, but a lot of people haven't really learned what all of that looks like. So if you're a type of person that's looking for validation in the group, understand we're asking you to heal that so that you can have people show up to give you that validation, so we can create a situation where we can be supportive in a different way. But we are learning how to be supportive, and right now a lot of the interns are doing all of their things, whether they're moving or they're heavy in their life, but we're all learning to find the rhythm inside that group. So be patient with us as we begin to develop. So who's next?
Actually, Tracy.
Hey, is she here?
She is here. She's been watching, she said, and
Does she want her 15-minute?
Yes.
All right, Tracy. Tracy is our 15-minute freebie. Okay, so these are people that have had that paid. Their name goes into the treasure chest, and what happens in that treasure chest is that your name gets you a chance through the whole month, no matter how many times your name gets in there again and again and again and again, and Spirit picks one out through her hand, through Amy's hand, but it is here. So Tracy, I believe we're friends. If you wanted to call, I could call you. We could do that, or we could do it just like this. This is up to you, but you get your 15 minutes of free time. So let me know what you want to do. And I've got that set. And she's going to be dealing with decisions because my teeth are like floating and hurting and aha. I mean, it's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I mean, oh my God, right there. That's not a pretty picture if you were to catch me on pause.
Are you sure you don't have a poppy seed or something in there? No, it's indecisive. It's indecisive because it was instantaneously like my sinuses are pushing pressure. Oh, excellent. Yay. Where's my phone? Oh no. Oh no. It's one of those things where I pop out of existence and Spirit says, here it is. Yay! Hold on. Hey, answer. Hello? Yeah, how do I do this? Where's my face? Share back. That's it. There, now you can see me. Yay! Excellent. Thank you.
Oh my God. So Spirit said...
We're matching. We're both.
Oh, I wish you could see it. We both got red on. Yes. And our hair is down. Yeah, I normally have the same color hair too, but I don't right now. You know.
That's okay.
Thanks. You too, hon. Okay. This will be fun and exciting. So, what would you like me to focus on?
I'll let you choose.
Spirit says yes. Okay. So here we go. Okay. Petrified you? No. There is some petrified energy around you. Now, you don't have any animals, do you?
I have horses, but they're not in my house.
Okay, that would explain why I couldn't see them. But I felt you had animals. Now, is any of those petrified? Any of those? Any of them?
They shouldn't be.
Okay. So they are very much loving horses that they could be used for therapy. I feel like they have absorbed to help out petrified, so if somebody is carrying petrified, they would pick it up. It's like they...
Right. But I haven't been able to see them since March.
Oh, that's...
Shut down.
Well, now we can understand why they're petrified. Where's Mommy?
No, but I've done some fence visits. I can only stick my hand through the fence.
It don't matter.
That's all I could. That was illegal too.
Well, they're locked up. I couldn't get to them.
Well, don't you understand why they're petrified?
Don't you remember I was crying, my 4-year-old self?
Oh. No, yeah, I got it now. Yeah, no. Yes, sorry. No, I caught up now.
Can we send them love? Can we send them some love?
Yes. And then, but anyways, there's a part of you that also feels petrified, and you've been suspicious as well. What have you been suspicious about? Maybe it is not about the horses as much as, but suspicious that if you were to expand who you are, expand the importance of self, that you matter, you have a voice, the things that I like to teach people. They're saying that there's a part of you that you would be suspicious. And as I'm looking a little deeper, they're saying that people would think something's up because you're not showing up the way that you always show up. And would you ever sit back and think, oh, I see their behavior, I'm so suspicious of them?
Always.
She said always. Now there's a part of her that thinks that if I become me, people are going to do that to me. I can't have that to do with me.
No, if I see you out of character. I learned who you are.
Right, but what if you are doing your best to, I'm going to become me. I can be Tracy. So if you're learning to be you.
I'm trying.
See, and the thing is she's doing instead of trying, and then somebody that hasn't seen her for months, what's up with you, girl? Oh, you're just faking it. And then she would feel like, no, this is me. Okay? Now, here's going to be the kicker. Let's say you went home to see mom and dad, and you show up as yourself. What's up with you? Who are you? Okay, people are going to come up against their own reality and say, you're not showing up the way we want you to, and therefore it can be a hassle. And that could be scary, okay?
I'm okay with it now.
Okay, but you still have that, she said, always, that she is suspicious. Now, understand what the mirror is going to do. If she's suspicious, they're going to be suspicious. Now, what happens when you're suspicious of somebody? It drops your octave. It drops your frequency from love to one of fear, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So
it's been a couple crazy days out here.
Yeah. And they're saying that there's a part of you that knows when you feel suspicious, they're not worth your time. Okay? Now listen to this. They said that when people are looking at you and seeing you worthless, they shame you. Is that true?
Shame me? I'm not around too many new people anymore. I mean...
Well, we're talking about old roots.
Oh, probably in the past, yeah.
Okay, and see, this is what's coming up. So if you're not aware of your roots and they start to come to the surface and say, hey, can you heal me now? You're like, why the fuck this just happened? Okay, because you're like, everything's been quiet and good. So they're just preparing you, just to let you know, that how do you deem someone unworthy? You have to be suspicious of their motives, yes?
Right, only. Well, I mean, I give everybody like a clean slate, but if, I don't know, not everybody's honest, you know?
Okay, here we go. She's learning these words. She's learning how to show up differently. And she's learning that the past needs to be resolved. Look at this. I'm turning a little bit red here.
I do that.
Oh, she does this. Okay. So notice the body is saying, oh, we have something to be fear about. Amy, look up the word suspicion so we can find the right thing. And note there's some unfairness going on. Okay, so notice with suspicion, there might be a little bit of unfair, a little bit of wary of what their motive is. Now, even though you give people a clean slate, you're talking about an old program that's saying, your soul says, you ready to heal it? Come on, girl. You ready to heal it? Now, I feel like you're ready to jump out and say, this is who I am. And you're looking down going, did I put clothes on? Shit! Because they're saying that you feel a little vulnerable. Okay? because you're so excited you got ahead of yourself, you feel a little vulnerable. Like there are days like I'll get out and like, shit, did I put my bra on? You know, oh, whew, put it on. At least I put it on the inside. That was my.
I do feel vulnerable a lot in your situation.
And that's what we need to heal. Okay.
But I'm putting myself out there.
Yeah, well, we can put ourselves out there all they want. We just got to make sure there's a certain amount of cover, you know. We don't want no nipplage issues going on. You're like, oh my God, I want to poke an eye out. You know, vulnerability is just an amazing thing. Anyway, Amy, what definition did you find?
Cautious distrust. Similar words are misgiving, doubt, weariness, hesitation.
Okay, what words did you hear?
Uncertainty, question mark, distrust, and mistrust.
All right, what stands out for you?
A lot of those words.
Right, and so she's developed this whole nature.
Okay, you know what it is? I'm sure a lot of it is trusting myself, because I guess I didn't feel like I trusted myself, even though the situation was out of my control.
Okay, there you go. Not feeling worthy, but not willing. Because when you trust and you have confidence, you really don't feel vulnerable.
No.
Okay, so now let's go further. Have you had a lot of things in your life where efforts were unreceived?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. As soon as I didn't even have to look at her, but because she's there, all of a sudden it was like, yeah. I was like, this was heavy. Did you feel the weight on that one?
Past programming.
Yeah. And you know where it's sitting? In my face. And I said prior, oh my God. Okay, so it has to do with if I make this decision, so if you've made decisions in the past, would it be wrong in other people's eyes?
Oh, yes, I did.
Okay, now hopefully when you come back and listen to this, you heard what you just said, because that's where I'd say you need to begin to heal that. Oh my God, I have evidence. It's a fucking 10. Okay, which means when you come back to heal this, it's an L1D, because there's a part of you that's like, love is unreceived. All right?
But I think I block it, too.
Yes, that's why I said you have to come back and do this. Okay, so she's grown and aged and she's come up with some really good ways to resolve it, but the roots are still there. So, let's go a little bit further. She's like, okay, but those moments just overpower me. And you can feel how you have to be suspicious, because sometimes when you look up, you're like, damn, their agenda just is so obvious. You're not subtle at all, are you? You know, I mean, it's like in your face. Okay, does that make sense? But it goes back to when you go to make your decisions, a lot of your decisions when you were younger were based on pleasing, or they were based on...
Yes, they were.
Oh my God, you made your decision, but somehow you were overpowered and bitch slapped down to the point where you're like, oh, apparently that's the wrong answer. So 2 plus 2 is not 4, it is, wait, what do you say it is? 6? Okay, 2 plus 2 is 6. Yes, that's it. So you've like retrained yourself, but that wasn't it. Next person. 2 plus 2 is 6. No! And you're like, so a lot of times you'll just drive yourself into, I can't make a decision because I haven't made the right one. I can't find that perfectness. What happens, okay, is that you need to really understand that you stored this in your heart. This is the way I have to act. This is the way I have to be. Okay? Now you're waking up. And you can get ahead of this by healing this particular thing out so that you don't have to see it with such bitch slap moment. So you're going to focus on how you
It's gotten better. It's gotten better.
Good. So you're going to do L1D, because that one there again has to do with love unreceived, but it's about, this is just, it's damaging. It hurts. It's just, you know this. So you have a lot of proof. So when you are holding this, notice the pictures, notice the proof. And stare at the proof, stare at the pictures, and then until it all of a sudden starts to lose power and you're taking your power back. It literally begins to resolve out. They said, okay, so let's say you made a decision, Tracy, and somebody exerted their power. Tracy! You know, that exertion of the power. Have you had anybody contradict you in such a way that you're, oh, maybe that was wrong. Can you feel that Do you know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, I feel everything.
Oh, yeah. You're a little sensitive. Yes, that's right. Okay, but notice. Okay, now what's going to happen is you're going to have to notice, like, oh, okay, yeah, I may have this ability, but it doesn't mean I have to absorb.
Right.
It's their truth. But I'm seeing this because, okay, and in this case, when you're looking at it, what does it mean? It goes back again to efforts unreceived. And how old are we? I'm about 4 years old, and so you're going to go and you're going to end up holding L1S. Is that 4-year-old again?
She's not going away yet, but we're working on it.
She says, I have a lot of safety issues. Come on, just give me a little credit. So, no, we love you. We'll get there. So remember, get the L1S, that love unreceived. Now, we're going to go a little bit further because they said you're almost ready to deal with this indecisiveness, but they want you to, okay, so you're going to end up holding L2S, left wrist, second position, soft. But what you're going to do is you're going to start noticing, it's not that you're indecisive and you can't make a decision, but it boils down to this, I have to reject something out of my reality. So you have to, if you're thinking about it, you have to reject who you are. So you have to become what your worth is with, which is less. Do you understand that? So you're looking at her going, okay, yeah. But again, you're rejecting. So you're kind of betraying yourself. You're rejecting yourself. You're rejecting what you want. You're rejecting. And as you are now getting older and learning to accept and to grow into that authenticity, you still have this feeling that I have to reject something out of reality. So it's like you're choosing, that 4-year-old is choosing that moment to forget and to become. And that's where it gets a little confusing, right there. So they're saying that when you go to heal the next layer, because they're really all about healing, is notice that R2S is about vulnerability, but it's about self-conscious, where you become to notice, oh, you're looking at me. Is something wrong with me? You know? And so when you do this, they're saying notice that your body will go into, okay. And when you do that, you got to learn to, because your body is saying, I need to protect myself. And so then you have to create those chemical peptides, which is going to defeat as you begin to grow. So that's why it's like, okay, if I can get my body to say no, no, the smiling will start creating a certain amount of chemical peptides that will actually help the stress to not go there. It'll help pull you out of stress. It's amazing what a smile can do. The gesture of your shoulders going back with confidence, with the arms on the hip, actually will start creating a certain amount of good chemical peptides that you need in order to overcome those particular habits that you got going on. Okay? They say that's very, very important, and you have, because you got to stop diminishing your character.
Myself, yes.
Okay, and so these little things, just start noticing these patterns, take notes, kind of take what I said, take notes, and allow yourself to be, because Tracy, you're blooming, and I can see the outcome of you, and you're beautiful. You already are beautiful, but now we need to just take those roots out so that we can say, like when you have old dead vines around a house, you can't see it until you clean off the crap, and then the curb appeal looks good.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we want to do, is take all this shit off so we can see the curb appeal. We want to see the beauty. Like, I can see your beauty, but I also know you can't really see your beauty, and it makes you wonder, I got to hide myself so people don't see my beauty, because that just leaves me fully exposed. Let's just take some of the stuff down, and then you all of a sudden you're like, oh, but I want to shine. I can't wait till you shine, okay?
Thank you, love. Yeah, we need to do some private.
Yeah. Yeah, but you got a whole lot of stuff there. You got your 15 minutes worth, and I thank you, my dear.
Thank you.
All right, just bring me closer so I can find how to do this. All right, bye, honey.
Bye.
Okay, that was good. Oh, 1 minute. Hi, James.
I don't have any more emails.
James, you want a 1 minute? I see you popped in, sweetheart. So I'm just checking. So it's important to begin to notice. It can get inside this head. It's amazing how it's like I can see how those connections are. But to communicate that and put the English language in the frequency of this English language without losing the translation of the light sometimes can be difficult at best, but yet Spirit has obviously done it enough for all of you to begin to wake up. Okay, and you're doing it. You're doing it. You just have to have patience. You'll have to understand when the dark night of the soul, that pattern, and then you just get thrown in this chaos, and you have to go be complete ego. And you're blaming, and you're protecting. You have to be okay, and just make sure that you can just spout in your own home, but please try to use this a tool. I don't care which tool, but just use a tool so that you don't burn bridges where you don't need it, and you don't have to start seeing people as assholes and because they have to show up the way you want. And shells. Shall I? I'll give you a 1 minute. Hi, babe. How's that? And like I said, James, if you're still here, then let me know, and then I will go. So, Shelley. Ooh. They're showing me an envelope, and they're showing me that it keeps getting resent back. Return to sender. So what happens is that's called resentment. So the resentment in this is that you send something out, it comes back. And in this case, are you resenting something of yourself? The person that's getting it is not getting it. Does that make sense? But at the same time, they have seen it to some degree. Now, this is part of a play game that happens. Oh, I did. Hey, I found her nickname. But notice that this is the game, and you're actually getting tired of it, because the first time it happened, you're like, oh my God. I mean, it really kind of shocked you, left a certain amount of percentage of you behind, so it stays alive. And it causes this playback. This is but you don't want to play with this person like this more. You're like, oh, no. And you're going to get there. You're going to get there. You just have to begin to notice, I don't want to play this way anymore. And if you're resenting, but the thing is that the backlash is hitting you and not them. And therefore, you need to heal out that resentment, because why hold on to something that's going to hurt you? And in this case, there's a part of you says that it's happening is because that relationship occurred, but it's it's part of that thinking process, because you don't know what to, it's like you're trying to figure it out, and then it happens. And they're saying, if you focus on that, then you can hold L1D and start to really put on the scale 0 to 10 and let it resolve out. Okay, anybody else? Okay, you guys have been great. And
Me?
You always get healings. Sure, take my extra minute. Just kidding. Okay, Ames, what's your guilt? Oh, that's why I had to say it that way. Guilt. That's why you've been repeating. Oh, hold on. You're afraid of being disapproved of, and so you guilt yourself into doing things you don't want to do. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay, they said that you also don't want people to make you weak if you stand up and say no, because they have a tendency to say things to make you feel weak. Is that true?
Yep.
All right. So then notice that it diminishes who you are, because you're also the type that says, I'm looking for acknowledgement. And so you can't be Amy around this people. So you're looking. The old Amy looks outside, looking for acknowledgement. Oh, disapproved of? Okay, I'll choose this. Is this the right? Okay, thanks. And so you're basing who you are based on yes, no, because you value them. Because there's a part of you that's avoiding, and the thing that you're avoiding is becoming an it. Now, you can start with R3S, R1D, okay, R3S, R1D, and take to what I said and just start to pull it out, because the R3S is that it's overwhelmed. The R1D has to do with the self-imposed limitations. You're starting to notice, shit, I put that there. And so you're going to start facing it, okay? Thank you. So, Shelley said, someone said some nasty stuff and I'm hesitant. I'm trustworthy if of them. Oh, yes. But still, yeah. That's where you can focus, yes. Oh, you're welcome, Amber. Yes. So we thank you for coming in and sharing who you are with us, and we are going to say resolve to evolve.
Heal instead of deal.
You can heal that.
Feel it to heal it.
And most of all, stay blessed.
Stay blessed.
All right. Bye.